from the Western world. This quote is 40 years back, coming from America, coming from a pastor, Bob Moorhead. He said this: "We have taller buildings but shorter tempers, wider freeways but narrower viewpoints. We spend more but we have less. We buy more but enjoy it less. We have more degrees." Look here, look here. The fire burning here is more important. That's what you have to attend to. Okay? That fire can be doused. We have more degrees but less sense. We have more knowledge but less judgment. More experts. So many sitting here, yet more problems. More medicine but less wellness. We have multiplied our possessions but reduced our values. We drink too much, smoke too much, spend too recklessly, laugh too little, drive too fast, get too angry quickly, stay up too late, get up too tired, watch TV too much, and pray to self. Forget TV, social media. You know, without the phone we cannot live. We are constantly driven by that. The lesson you learn from that is, whenever you light a lamp, the wick which should be lit should always be little short. In life also we need to balance that fire. If the fire is large, the Gita itself says, it can go out of control. Mahashara Mahapapma. So we are learning a lot of things in today's session, live, but pay attention. Another thing, you should plan. The light has to be lit for this period of time. So the quantity of oil you should pour should also be very limited. Okay, but we learn. See, all of us make mistakes. Making mistake is not. Learning is the most important. We've learned to make a living but not a life. We've added years to life but not life to years. We've been all the way to the moon and back but have trouble crossing the street to meet the new neighbor. We've conquered outer space but not inner space. We've done larger things but not better things. We've split the atom but not our prejudice. We plan more but accomplish less. We've learned to rush but not to wait. We have more weapons but less peace. That's why you ask for peace. These are the times of fast foods and slow digestion, tall men and women but short character, steep profits but shallow relationships, more leisure and less fun, more kinds of food but less nutrition, 2 incomes but more divorces, fancier houses but broken homes. Now this was written, or this was mentioned 40 years back in the West. It seems to have some truth even in Mandi today. Yes? Now the big question is, are we correcting this or we are rushing headlong in the same direction in our developmental model? What do you think? If this is a good model, we should follow it. But something is radically wrong. It's not delivering the fulfillment that we want. The question is, what is wrong with this model of development of education? What is wrong? Yes? Absolutely. See, he says here, we've conquered outer space but not inner space. Even in our education, it's totally materialistic and without a focus on Dharma. So, in IIT Madras, we use a word called funda. Our funda is our goal somewhere. We need to set it right. So that's what we attempted in IIT Madras. We said learning arts and science, engineering, medicine can be and should be made effective, exciting and inspiring. But is this education adequate to live meaningfully, authentically, holistically in fulfillment? No, we have to add something, and that should be, in fact, in the Gurukula system, that was core. All your engineering and all were electives. Now the core is gone and the elective has become core. So we, in 2012, actually we had many programs earlier. We started these two courses. They're called GN, a new category. GN stands for general. Anybody can take the course. It's a credited course. Self-awareness and integral karma awareness. These are the two books which I had written. Stop Sleepwalking Through. This is a textbook used for self-awareness. Spirituality at Work is used for integrity. These are the students attending these courses. Large number, including foreigners. And we also realize that the real key to this is in teachers. So once a year we conduct programs for teachers all over the country. It's called SAGE, Self-Awareness and Higher Goals in Education. We used to do it every year, now we do it every alternate year. Just to, not to teach, just to expose people to what we seem to be missing. Now, spirituality at work is about Bhagavad Gita, and whatever I'm going to say next will be from the teachings of the Gita. Just an overview, but I'll try to explain it in a very simple way. The Gita belongs to the Bhishma Parva in the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is the greatest work of literature ever produced by mankind. It is the longest epic ever written. Okay, it's at least 1 lakh verses long. It's poetry. And there's a statement in the Mahabharata itself which says, whatever is here may be found elsewhere. Whatever in the realm of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Those are the 4 Purusharthas. I'll come to that. Is all here. And what is not cannot be found anywhere else. So we will benefit if we can really read. Even reading the stories, but behind the plots and subplots, there are lots of lessons to be learned. So in my post-retirement period, I have devoted myself to actually writing on 4 volumes, totally around 1600 pages. Motilal Banarsi Das has brought out the first 2 volumes, you can check it out. Easy to read, but through the eyes of Vidura. And Vidura is giving a commentary on everything. And you can see how relevant it is to our daily life, why we are on the red side and what needs to be done to go to the green side. So let's talk of Purushartha. Why do we do anything? So in our ancient wisdom, they use the word Purushartha. Purusha means man, Artha means meaning. The purpose why human beings live. They easily categorize it into 4. The first is Kama. Now, Kama in general means desire. But when you put it in this pyramid of Purusharthas, it has a special meaning. It means sensual pleasures, sensual enjoyment, which is not wrong. But in that also you have very crude, you have very refined. Enjoying nature belongs to this. Okay, and there are many crude versions you already know. Then there is Artha. Artha really means meaning, but in a larger context it means wealth. Actually, you need money to spend to buy your phones and shoes and etc. etc. So for Kama also you need Artha, and you have learned, even learning, getting degrees, even success, even fame and power. All this actually comes under Artha. So you will find that all that we want mostly in the material world belongs to Kama and Artha. But in the tradition they said, this is fine, but they must be controlled by care and consideration for the environment, for other people. So that brings in restrictions, that brings in laws, that brings in ethics. And that is called Dharma. There is a Dharma which holds up the whole cosmos. Dhru, the root of Dharma, means to hold together. So, morality, integrity, service, altruism, caring for others, this is more about giving and taking. This is more, the other one is more about giving. Now, it's good to talk about what Westerners think about these things. So, you have Western schools which also say roughly the same thing. There are theories on happiness. All this is meant to give happiness. And people have talked about this lowest category where you want to live the pleasant life. We all want to have fun. Everybody wants to have fun. Nothing wrong. But if your center of gravity is here, you are really not contributing anything to society or to the world. You're just taking and enjoying what other people have delivered. This is much more meaningful. And if your center of gravity is here, you're living the good life according to this. And examples given is, see, just sitting and watching a cricket match on TV or a football match and enjoying and clapping brings some enjoyment. Actually playing and excelling is a different level of enjoyment, where you are actually feeling it firsthand and you may excel in whatever game you're playing. Whole life is a game. So you choose your game and you excel in playing that game. So Artha is also, and other people will get influenced positively by what you contribute. So Artha is also, is good. Then they also talk of altruistic life, philanthropies, and people who devote their lives to service of others, which is rated the highest in all religions. And there your center of gravity is in Dharma, and they use a word called meaningful life. There your impact on society is significant. And they say the happiness that you get living a meaningful life is much more than what you can get in a good life or pleasant life. And people should rise up to this. This is meaningful and we all understand it. But the Indian wisdom tradition, even the Bhagavad Gita says, this is not the ultimate. This will not give you enduring fulfillment. Can you tell me why? This is important, but this is not the ultimate. This is not the Shreyas which Arjuna asked Krishna on the battlefield. He said, what will give me the ultimate Shreyas? Shreyas means the ultimate good. Yes? What is the limitation of this? Most people say this is the best thing you can possibly do. Yes? Repetition. Limitation. I didn't hear. Can you want me to repeat the question? Outside. Okay. Outside meaning not from within you. You are depending on outside. Agree? Is that what he said or something more? It will repeat it. So, another way to say what you are saying is, this will not last long. It is temporary. The happiness you get from these things, two limitations you've nicely pointed out. One is, it doesn't last long. Secondly, it's coming from outside. It's dependent. Beautiful. Exactly. See, you want something to last, but that which you think will promise happiness itself doesn't last. See, you thought buying that new car will give you happiness. Now the happiness is not a property of the car. Your neighbor buys a bigger car, you lost your interest. Let me not talk about wife and so on. But this is how it is. It is dependent on factors beyond your control. And you don't even have control over your happiness. Correct? That's true. So they are object dependent. Vishaya is the correct word. And they are not, they are temporary. They will come and go. So the path of prayers is short-term happiness. Nowadays we say instant gratification. That's what sells. So that's a limitation. Very well, correctly put. Now, Kabir said this beautifully, lovely doha. Kasturi kundal base. Kasturi is a fragrance, a scent, a perfume, which is extracted from the intestine of a special species of deer. Now, in the poet's imagination, the deer can also feel this fragrance. It thinks this fragrance is coming from outside. Mrag dhundhe ban mahi. So it's searching for this source of this happiness everywhere. Where will I get it? IIT Mandi, I'll get it. Okay, which department will I get it? Which paper I will get? Which citation I will get it? Which promotion will give me this? You're going on running after, and you get something and say, bhai, ye kuch garbad hai. And then you say, no, I must now become. Until the day we die, we are going on sniffing around and running around. This is Kabir. What a beautiful line. We are like this deer. Jo ghat ghat Ram hai, dunya dekhe nahi. Now, Ram here you should take as fulfillment. It is coming from within, but we think it is coming from outside. That is the big mistake. Today morning, one student asked, because the talk was on civil engineering, but he said, sir, I have always wondered, Arjuna was lucky to have Krishna as his charioteer. But to solve our problems, where will we get such a charioteer? So, the answer is, charioteer is within you, in your own antaratma. You have to look within, and you will find. For sure you will find. So, that is called moksha, okay, which very few people understand. It is liberation. It is actually going beyond all limitation. And then, you can say, this is not there in the happiness book, but you could say, if you live a life with your center of gravity here, then you could call that a true spiritual life. The movement asato ma satkamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya is a movement from here to there. It's an evolution in our consciousness. It's the game of life. And it gives fulfillment. It's like hide and seek, it will come and go. It will become stable when you reach it. This we are just following what everybody else is saying. In the ancient times, they used to follow certain rules, karma kanda in the Vedas. But you are still trapped in samsara, going around in circles. This has a strong dose of jnana. So the Upanishads belong to this realm. This is a jnana kanda. This is a path of shreyas, this is a path of prayas. Now, even when you are tasting it here, you will start manifesting fulfillment. There's a big difference between trying hard to do things to get somewhere, to become happy, starting from a state of unhappiness, and doing the same thing from a state of fulfillment. You are not searching for happiness, you are expressing happiness. Big difference. This is what? And you're still doing karma, but there's no karta after that. You are just an instrument for a great Shakti to operate. So, you continue living in the world as a Jivan Mukta and you bring down this into inspire people, you do what needs to be done. This is what the Gita teaches. Now, in the Vedas, there is a portion called Upanishads, which is not taught to everybody. The student has to ask deep questions, and only for adhikaris this knowledge is given. So it cannot be taught in a university or if you will get it if you really want it. So there are 3 books that this is the Awakening trilogy you can read. Awakening of Nachiketa from the Kathopanishad, the Awakening of Shaunaka from the Chandogya Upanishad, the Awakening of Shvetaketu from the, this is Chandogya, this is from the Mundaka Upanishad. But only if you are interested, you can read these. Here, the candidate is the boy, Nachiketa is only 12 years old. Here in Shvetaketu, he's like an IIT graduate, postgraduate, 24 years old. He thinks he knows everything. And here it's a 51-year-old senior person. Very interesting. Similar questions they ask. So this is the book, Spirituality at Work. It tries to tell you what is the secret. The first thing is to find fulfillment in being. If it's really coming from within, then actually you don't have to do anything. You have to recognize it, realize it, feel it. It's always in the present, not something in the future. Not easy, because we are conditioned to search, to sniffing around and searching for happiness outside. Then this expresses in knowing, and fulfillment in knowing is called Jnana Yoga. Fulfillment in doing is called Karma Yoga. Fulfillment, and there is something called Dhyana Yoga, which is an accessory to help us get this, meditation. And there is fulfillment in loving, which is called Bhakti Yoga. This is all that the Gita teaches. And some of us have a liking to begin here, okay, move that way. Some of us have a liking to begin here, move here. Some of us have a liking to begin here, move here. Now, in my view, this is absolutely necessary for all of us. Because we are living in the world, the Vyavaharik realm, we are doing karma anyway. So we should start here and incorporate everything. That's why the course is called Integral Karma Yoga. We don't want the parents of our students to think that their son or daughter will run away and take sannyas. No. Live in the world. Do what needs to be done. And live in fulfillment. So I'm going to give you, because time is limited, snapshots of these 4 yogas. Is that okay? That's all we can do in this limited time. So what is Jnana Yoga? This is our surface personality which we identify with the persona. Jiva is any living being which has Jivan, living. So this is me, my ego self which has name and form, Nama, Rupa. Vyavahar, it does something, it has a role to play. And the world is outside, it is Jagat. I am like this deer looking around for happiness. I am driven by dissatisfaction and unease. Okay? There is something lacking. It's because of this lack that we are driven into the Purushartha. Now, to fill this lack, like the deer, I am searching for it in some object or the other, promising happiness outside. When you reach 10th standard in India, typically, everybody says, "Bhai, prepare to be either engineer or doctor." Na? Typically, middle class families. Then you go for some coaching, blah, blah, blah. But very few people make it. Otherwise, you find some means to enter somewhere. Because there's a promise where you become happy. You have to look at people who have gone that way, and whether they are really happy or not, you will find that it's a different story. Because the unease is not, see, as a scientist, you should know you must crack the problem at the root. Otherwise, it will keep coming, as he said, keep repeating. Samsara is repetition, keep repeating again and again. So, objects and activities promising happiness, you go for. Now, just before the talk, 10 minutes before, there was a movie being shown. So, I'm not surprised that audiences think, because that promises happiness. And it does provide happiness, by the way. We are not saying it is wrong. So, this movement is in the realm of Artha and Kama, and ideally it should be controlled by Dharma. Unfortunately, even today, even in institutions like IITs, you cannot conduct an examination without supervision. Why? See, I should not copy, I should not cheat, should be my dharma, right? I won't like it if someone copies, cheats and gets higher marks than me. But we all do it. So, if even in institutions like IITs you have to bring in invigilation, policing, it is not the level of education we would expect from top students, right? Because somewhere in our education, not enough emphasis is given on Dharma. It is what it is, let us live with it and improve on it. So, we seek these objects, and that attraction, the objects attracting our attention, and the media plays a big role. Peer pressure is there. This pay package, this job will give you everything, and we run. Later we'll find out that it's not so attractive. But it does give some happiness. So this is called raga. Very important. See, even foreign students attend. Now the course is going on in IIT. I said, at least a few Sanskrit words you should learn. Don't need to know everything. Raga. Raga means attraction. And it leads to attachment. So we exert ourselves. That movement outwards, engaging with the world, is called pravritti. Vritti is a vibration. Pravritti is acting outward. The jiva engages with the jagat through pravritti. But sometimes you also want to withdraw. There's some person you don't want to meet, you want to run away. There are things that you don't want to, you're not attracted to, you're repulsed by. So sometimes your happiness comes by running away. And that resistance, that movement in the opposite direction, aversion, is called dvesha. Raga and dvesha are said to be two sides of the same coin. Okay. If you have raga for a few selected things, you will have dvesha also. And the same things that once gave you raga can give you dvesha. You will see it in relationships. Falling in love. Nothing wrong, but it's sometimes a fall, real fall. And then you ask the girl, Bhai, what happened now? Said, he turned out to be completely opposite of what I thought he was. Now, did he really change, or did our understanding improve later? That's a big question. We didn't see it. We wanted to see only certain things, we'll see only that thing. So, it's easy for raga to switch to dvesha. The underlying everything, and that is the cause of the unease, is bhaya, the fear. You get some good things, immediately you are afraid that you will go away. It is true, it won't last. You can enjoy whatever you want, but it's good to know that it will not last. It's also important to know that the terrible things that are coming in your life will also not last. It gives you happiness, but that happiness also is temporary, as we saw. It doesn't last. And when it stops lasting, what happens? You go back to unease. Then you go again in this circle. So this becomes a chain. And you keep doing it without thinking. It's like a merry-go-round, keep going round again and again. After some time, you will feel कि भाई कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. Something is wrong with this way of living. But it may take many lifetimes. It is then that you say that just because majority is running in that direction doesn't make it the right thing to do. Then you want to do the right. Now, if we are scientifically oriented, we should say कि भाई there must be a root cause, because if you keep going around in the circle, you'll never find the root cause. So you should ask, is our basic nature lack in unease? Or is it like Kabir says, that it is full of that perfume which somehow we are only occasionally feeling? And now you see how this makes sense. Living this life is what Thoreau says, lives of quiet desperation. So what is our daily project if you are living in that red spectrum, from despair to success? It is actually to somehow overcome unease. If you look carefully, when you get what you badly want, the joy you get is actually a feeling of relief. You are relieved from that unease. It's like you sweat a lot and then someone puts on the fan. The sweat has gone away and you feel it is not gaining something positively. You can't gain what you already have. Very interesting. Just think of this, our daily project for everybody. We run around like hell, even in the academic world. We do a lot of work. And yes, it is doing some good. We are not denying that. But how much good? I want to ask this strongly, because we are in IIT. Government is investing so much of money to IIT. Look at Mandi. Look at the common people. So many people living in sheer despair, wanting 2 square meals, wanting shelter, wanting clothing, thinking that all great people are living here and they are doing some work which will help us. Are we helping them? I'm just raising a question. In what way all the great intellectual work we are doing is reaching them? What is our priority? Are they our matter of concern, or our publications and citation index, and that too in journals which nobody reads? Just asking you to think, because spirituality at work compels us to ask these questions. If basically the fullness is already there, fulfillment is already there, Purnata is already there, then it should manifest to express itself. And that expression should help. The word used in the Gita is Loka Sangraha. Should help the world around us, especially the people we are close to. Don't you agree? Just think over it. A common reply I get, I talk about it to all the faculty. Sir, everybody is like that, the system is like that. But I'm asking a person who has gone beyond the good life, who's gone into the meaningful life, especially who's gone into the spiritual life, will never accept that as well. So I don't need to live this way. So, sir, you won't get your promotion. I don't care. Whatever I will get, I will get. There's a line in the Gita says, you live the right life, yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Your material well-being is my responsibility. Don't worry. That's a line stolen by Life Insurance Corporation. It is their motto, Yoga Kshemam Vahamya. Now, Jnana, we are into the topic of Jnana Yoga, is exploring why are we having this unease. And then we'll find that it is because of ignorance, avidya. If this ignorance is not being removed by vidyalayas, it's because the realm of domain of vidyalayas is this realm, not even dharma, is this realm. You think happiness you'll get from external development. It is in the realm of what is called aparavidya, lower vidya. We don't explore paravidya, which is the only way you can practice, not knowing who I am. So to do this, you have to stop doing your pravritti. Actually, you'll stop doing pravritti when you're reasonably well off. But there must be some deeper purpose in my life. To discover that purpose, you have to contact the source. And so, you have to do the opposite of pravritti, which means nivritti. The vritti is moving inward into your core of your being, your antarat. And that connection is called yoga. So, yoga. Then, you will find out how intimately you are related to the source of all manifestation. And that is moksha. Just giving you a snapshot in a pictorial language which we are familiar with in all our engineering studies. So this is paravidya, this is aparavidya. This cannot be taught, but any proximity to any self-realized person will show you what it means. No words can capture it. This can be taught, but then you should say this is not vidyalaya, it is avidyalaya, because your unease will still remain. Now, this is a beautiful story, the 6 blind men from Hindustan. There's a nice poem I've studied. It's a joke actually. 6 blind men heard of some mighty animal called the elephant, and they went to see the elephant. Look at the irony in this. Blind persons are going to see the elephant. And all 6 of them reached out and touched a different part of the elephant. And the moment it felt, this guy is, felt the tusk and said, this is a spear, because he's felt a spear before. This fellow is feeling the trunk is moving around. He said, this is a snake. This fellow is touching the leg like a tree. It's a tree. This fellow is feeling the side, it's so solid like a wall. This fellow is touching the tail and thin. It's a rope. Many intellectuals, we are like this. We are not wrong because we are 100% sure of what we are saying. Because our conditioning, our background, our experience says it is. So if you hear somebody else say, "Hey, bhai, it's a wall," you say, "What rubbish you are saying? Wall will not move. This is moving like a snake." Nonsense. And often in religions, we have these kind of arguments. I am right, you are wrong, you don't know anything. You should read the Shastras, know what the reality is. But I must at least acknowledge ki bhai, you are also an intelligent person, perhaps more intelligent than me. There must be a reason why you are saying what you are saying. So out of curiosity, I said, let me find out why my friends are, my brothers are talking like this. So that's the only way you'll know the truth. You have to temporarily let go of whatever you are rigidly holding on to. That is very difficult because we are wedded to our opinions and beliefs. Let go and say, अरे देख लेते हैं, why is he saying? Then you go and say, अरे, it's true. Says, my brother has said right, this actually feels like a wall. So you go around, you see that everybody is partially true, and then you admit कि भाई, it's a mystery. पता नहीं क्या है. It is greater than the sum of the parts. That will bring humility. And that is needed in jnana. Okay? Now, in the realm of jnana, we talk of 3 levels of understanding. We should know. I have access only to my mind. I don't have access to your mind unless I have some power, some siddhis, or I am telepathic, or I am very empathetic. Even my opinion of you is based on the clothes you wear, my past experience. I can never know you. So, the world that I see is a world at the level of my mind, subject to my conditioning, my background, my samskaras, my vasanas. With that, I navigate the world. It's limited, it's biased, it's prejudiced, it's conditioned. I must first accept that. How many of us accept that? So that level is called pratibhasika. So you take a simple thing. We've learnt in physics that we see the world with our eyes. Eye has a convex lens, the retina, right? In physics, we are taught that what you see through a convex lens is an image, and you know all the calculations, focal length, blah, blah, blah. But the mystery is the image is always inverted and diminished. So the world we see, क्या सब कुछ उल्टा है क्या? And at last we don't know. Then we know that the doctors say that there are some nerve endings, rods and cones at the back of your retina, which transmit an image to the brain, and in the brain, what do you see? You see an image. Image is from the word imagination, purely mental. And with that, we are conjecturing there must be a solid real world outside. It's a mystery actually. So that is pratibhasika. In a dream also you can see. The dream, when you wake up, say, "Arey, it's all my imagination." So pratibhasika classical meaning is the dream world. But anything that you have access to is limited to the pratibhasika. And the vyavaharika is the world in which we engage. It's a world where there is vyavahara, there is transaction, give and take. There is meaning. The world, the waking world. But where does the vyavaharika come? Some physics, they say Big Bang. Okay? But before the Big Bang, it must be potentially there. So it's a big mystery. That source from which all manifestation took place, which is formless, obviously, space and time came after that, which is beyond description, beyond thinking, is called Paramarthika. That is the real meaning of ultimate spirituality. We use a word called Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, Akshara Brahman. Let's not get into those words. We sometimes use the word Ishvara, God, which has 2 aspects. One is Nirguna and the other is Saguna. Okay? And the 2 are joined together in a word called Purushottama in the Bhagavad Gita. I won't get into all. Now, the closest you can get to truth is if you align your pratibhasika, which you know is limited and biased, to the vyavaharika reality. Willing to correct yourself, like these guys are willing to correct themselves. And the pratibhasika should ideally be sourced in, aligned to the parama. This is yoga. When that connection is genuinely there, authentically there, you will do what is meant to be done, and there is no you doing it. There's only one being which is doing everything. So, I could cover Jnana Yoga with just that, okay, because it's a big topic, only for those who are interested. And the Guru will come when the student is ready. That's for sure. Now we have Dhyana Yoga, which is very important for all of us to succeed in life. You must be able to focus. So Vyasa has given a commentary in which he talks of our mind being like a cow which feeds in 5 pastures, 5 grasslands. First, he said Kshipta. Shikta is always distracted. See, your minds were Kshipta when the fire was there and you left the slide, you left the speaker, you left the spirituality at work. Because that is interesting. In IIT Madras, we have a big Kshipta problem because there are monkeys in the campus who come, and the student naturally finds sometimes the monkey is more interesting than the professor who's teaching or the slides. Can't blame it. But they are not interested in monkeys also. Then they look around here. So mind attention span is very limited. We are all distracted. That's why, see, phone we take out, look at it. And even what we see there doesn't last long. Then we, what do you call that? Scroll and scan and swipe, and it's difficult because our minds are trained to be distracted. Shipta. 5,000 years ago this was described. But sometimes we can concentrate little bit. Okay. The other one is Mudha. Mudha means, actually it means stupid, but stupefied is a better word. When the lecture is going above your head, best thing is to go to sleep. Because you don't understand anything. Or you're not interested. You're dull. So Mudha is another favorite pasture for all of us. The third is you are interested and you are struggling to understand and pay attention. That is called Vikshipta. But even their attention span is limited only. Now this talk is going to last for an hour or little more. So constantly will be thinking, okay, bhai, what will I have for dinner? When will this fellow stop? When can I go out? You're free to go out. There's no problem. But then our whole life is like this. Nothing to do with the talk. Vyasa said, for most people, these are the 3 pastures that the mind go to. Shipta, Mudha, Vikshipta. The 4th one needs training. The 4th one is Ekagra, unwavering attention. To succeed in anything in life, you need Ekagrata. You need to be able to place your attention where your buddhi commands and keep it there until the buddhi said, okay, now you can let go. First of all, the buddhi should know what to command. But this ability to focus, to concentrate, to see nothing else but this, like Arjuna saw the eye of the bird, it can come from training. That's the good news. Untrained mind is stuck here. All of us are stuck there. Why blame students for looking at cell phone? Old people are also looking at cell phone. And what you see affects you, whether you like it or not. Your company affects you. Everything affects you. So if you are interested in Dharma and Moksha, you have to be very careful of what inputs, what food you take. There's the word used, pratyahara. You must withdraw from indulging in foods which are not healthy for you. You are not yet ready to handle that. That needs guidance. From within you will get the guidance. So this is a important thing that all students, all teachers, all parents should be aware of. The best thing you can do to your child is help the child gain this mastery. It can be gained. In fact, there's a book I recommend by Dandapani. It's called The Power of Unwavering Focus or Unwavering Attention. Dandapani. Beautiful. Simple practices. Daily you practice. You take vows. Ki bhai, I will, for 10 minutes I will focus on this. For meditation, this is extremely important. Dhyana. Unchanged. To do research, you have to do this. Now, normally you can do this easily if you also like what you are focusing. If there's a love for the subject. The beloved's face will come without any effort into the mind for a long time. So that also is important. So through training you can get it. But there's a fifth field which very few people have been able to access. And that is called Niruddha. Niruddha is, here there is something in the mind that is still there, some image, something. Even it could be, image of your Ishta Devata. This is beyond that. There is nothing. There is only stillness. There is only silence. We have meditation exercises where we try to help people know that there is an ever-present stillness and silence that we are always ignoring. Right now, you can hear sounds, right? The air conditioner, sound of my voice, sounds from within, outside. Try to remove all other sense perceptions and focus only on sounds. You will find the sounds are all coming and going, coming and going. Vibration in the eardrum. Where is it coming from and where is it going? It's coming from a silence. If all sounds stop, the silence will be visibly felt. But we are usually uncomfortable with that silence. You want some noise. Here, you are looking for that which is nitya, unchanging, sat. That's when you become not only comfortable with silence, you discover a ananda in that stillness. So this is a very high stage. It's called Niruddha. And in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, the most important sutra is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. When all the vibrations in the mind are stilled, then you have achieved Samadhi. Okay. Samadhi really comes from concentration. Now, it's important to know wherever your mind is going is revealing your character. Your energy is going there. It's mostly dissipated because it goes from here, there, nothing useful comes out. So, energy flows where attention goes is a famous statement made. Now, this Dandapani in his book says, you are the sum total of where you have been investing your energy your entire life. Your physical, mental and emotional makeup are a byproduct of your conscious or unconscious investment. I showed you a first slide where we showed the red spectrum and the green spectrum. If we are mostly in the red spectrum because unconsciously our energies are going there, getting into dysfunction. So we must know where it is being dissipated, where it is being wasted. If it's collected together, it's very powerful. It's like a magnifying lens which can take down the sunlight and actually burn a piece of paper, can produce fire. So that power is something that human beings alone can train and it's important in educational institutions where we help students. We help ourselves also get that power so that you can get anything you really want. In the Gita, you must have seen a lot of paintings are there. There is this famous Ratha Kalpana, the chariot allegory, which is very deeply meaningful. The chariot has to go to a certain destination, one of the Purusharthas. Let's say it wants to go to Moksha itself. So the charioteer is the individual, the passenger. No, the passenger is the individual, the jiva. The charioteer who is guiding the chariot, who is driving the chariot, is the buddhi, the intellect. The reins, the ropes which connect to the horses is the mind, the manas. And the horses themselves, in the Mahabharata, in spirituality at work, actually I drew 5 horses because I wanted to cover the 5 indriyas. You know, smelling, tasting, touching, 5 cognitive senses. But after doing my study in Mahabharata, I found that there were never chariots with 5 horses. There were either 4 horses or 2 horses. The one which Krishna rode had 4 horses, and the horses also have names. So the 4 is symbolic for 5 senses, indriyas. And each one, if it's untrained, wants to go in a different direction. You go to a shopping mall, buy 2, get 3 free, immediately you're looking at, should I buy? Do I have money? Then someone else says, no, buy from here, buy from there. So you're looking. Horses are like that, being pulled in. But you are supposed to go somewhere else, not be distracted by objects here and there. Those distractions which those objects are vishaya. Very simple description. Now, if you really want to go somewhere, you need a good driver and you need trained horses and you need control over the horses, right? Then only you can go to the right place. Unfortunately, our buddhi is not well developed. Our manas is also not well developed. There's no, and the horses are uncontrollable. They'll just go here. So how can you function meaningfully in life with this setup? The CEO of a company is one who should have total control. But here the CEO is outside the chariot. Right? Because no control. So it's a very meaningful analogy. Another analogy which the happiness psychology books give, which I like, is the Atma, which is within the Antaratman here, should be having control over the buddhi over the manas, over indriya, over vishaya, not the opposite. Now, in the story, Krishna tries his best to prevent the war. Actually, he goes on a peace mission to Hastinapura, and everybody is convinced what he's saying is true. And he even gives his Vishwarupa Darshan there. But Duryodhana is not convinced. Duryodhana is actually telling some powerful words which sometimes comes to us also. He says, Janami dharmam nacha me pravritti. Don't lecture to me about dharma. I know what is dharma, yeah? But the fact is I cannot practice it. My pravritti is not following dharma. Janami papam dharma nacha me nivritti. I also know what is wrong. But I cannot stop myself from doing wrong. Look at this. Kenapi devena hridi sthitena. There is a deity, a powerful deva or asura, whatever you want to call it, which is forcing me to Yatha niptosmi tatha karomi. It is forcing me to do what is being done. Don't give me any advice or lecture, it won't work. This is not in the Mahabharata, this is in another work. But sometimes we are also like Duryodhana. So it won't help. So there is a elephant allegory which is in modern psychology books. There's a mahout which climbs on the elephant. Now if you wear a suit like this, corporate person, and climb on the elephant, I want to go there, the elephant will just keep quiet, smile. It might even stay there, or it might go in the opposite direction. Now this is the elephant is our body, sense, mind, buddhi apparatus. Not in our control. Even if we want something, we cannot. So we have to understand what the hell this is all about. The Gita helps us understand what is the current constitution of this body. What are the gunas in the body? The good thing about the elephant is elephant can be trained. Untrained, it won't listen to you. So that is the moral of this. The rider may want to reach a destination, but the elephant, far more powerful, may choose not to obey and do whatever it wants. The constitution of the elephant, made up of its samskaras, its gunas, governs its behavior. This varies from person to person. But the elephant can be trained, repetition of tasks to achieve the spiritual goal. It's vital, physical, mental, or intellect. So in all these parts of the body, you have to do training. Isn't this education? Is it there in our curriculum? Is it not important? I'm just asking. Is it pseudoscience? No, it makes sense. So, I think this is very popular in the US now. They have a lot of teachers who teach the Buddhist practice vipassana of mindfulness. That's a good start. It's all about clear observation, awareness, and knowing of what is arising and passing away in each present moment. What is the vritti in my mind? Where is my mind paying its attention? The key aspects are awareness, presence, attention, non-judgment, spaciousness, kind curiosity. See, there's a vast background and stillness in which all this is happening. So you must also be aware of that stillness and background. Mindful awareness is a skill that can be developed and perfected so that it becomes a permanent trait, an attitude, and a resource for power, strength, calmness, clarity, compassion, and insight. It's a Buddhist practice, but very beautiful. Mindfulness is being simply aware of what's happening right now without wishing it were different. Look at this. First job is to see kya ho raha hai. At the same time, while you enjoy, if it's pleasant, don't hold on to it when it changes, because it's sure to change. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshnu sukha dukkha da. Matra sparshastu, the contact of senses with sense objects, is bound to bring feelings of shita ushna, cold and heat, warmth. Dukkha sukha, happiness and sorrow. Agama payano anitya, but they will come and go. Tan stitikshasva bharata. Learn to tolerate it, endure it. Don't immediately pop in a pill or switch on the AC. Improve your levels of tolerance, then you will gain mastery. That quality is called titiksha. And being with the unpleasant without fearing it will always be this way, because it won't. So, this is a practice. What the hell is going on? And then you'll find there's, at the bottom of it, there's a lot of stillness and peace, and you're not disturbed by whatever's happening. Now we come to Karma Yoga. And I'm just giving you a glimpse of Karma Yoga. The first is the quality of being calm and equipoise to these opposites. Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha alabha jaya ajaya. So, treat alike pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat. Now, you can't ever treat them same. That only a jnani can do. But you can do what was shown in the previous slide. Enjoy, but realize it won't last, and so don't cling to it. And also when negative things happen, negative things are loss, pain, defeat, it won't last. But be ready to, because the outcome is not in your hands. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Krishna is telling Arjuna, get ready to do battle. Look, you have already come here, you've already made the decision, you're in the middle of the battlefield. You can't back out now. And this is an advice to all of us. We don't have to fight any battle and kill anybody, but we have our own battles to fight, our work to do. Do it. Do your dharma. And if you do it, you will not incur any sin. But to do it well, you have to have that quality. Remember we talked of Kshipta, Mudha, Vikshipta, but you need Ekagra, which Arjuna had. You need to be focused on the work at hand. So it says, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. Kurunandana is name for Arjuna. You need a buddhi which is Vyavasayatmika. Buddhi is intelligent will which must be resolute, which must be focused. I have to go here, I have to fix my concentration here, and I will not take it out until my buddhi says take it out. Ekeha, one-pointedly, focus on the work. It should not be Vikshipta or Kshipta or Mudha. Multi-branch, looking here, there, distracted. Anantasya. Bahushakha is multi-branch. Anantasya is always like that. Ananta. Always distracted. Then this famous keynote verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which 99% of people don't understand. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachin. Your right is to doing action. Do it. But the fruits of the action are not to be decided by you alone. Ma phaleshu kadachin. Not to the fruits of action. Ma karma phala hetur bhuh. Never let the fruits be your motive. Ma te sangostva akarmani. Nor ever be attached to inaction. Now we must begin by saying that this seems very impractical. Almost everything we do is motivated by some desire, some outcome. How can you say, don't worry about the outcome, just focus on the action? Nobody will do that kind of action. Yet, if you recall, there are some actions you have done like that. This is the hallmark of a karma yogin. So, to understand this, you have to know a little more. I'm going to bring in a little modern psychology to show how this can be understood. Otherwise, but one more statement is here. Doesn't mean you should stop doing anything and take to laziness and negligence. Inaction you cannot do. Other definition of karma yoga is samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam is equipoise. It's a key definition. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. I think one of the IITs has this as the motto. Kanpur or Kharagpur, I don't know. Skillful dharmic action. You should have kushalta in doing it. So you cannot just say you'll do anything. It must be the best you're capable of. And do whatever needs to be done, niyatam kuru karmatvam, with a sense of niyamya, regulated, control. So only if you do all this, it's karma yoga. Now I'll go to modern psychology. Maslow's theory, hierarchy of needs. Maslow was a psychologist with a big difference. He said, I don't want to study sick people. neurotic, psychotic. I want to study the healthiest people society has ever produced. What makes them tick? What makes them fulfilled? And he said, people do things out of need. What are the basic needs? Physiological needs, body needs, safety needs, belongingness and love, and esteem needs. Physiological needs are needs of the body we share with animals. Safety needs are things for the future. I must, make money, save money, which humans only think. Security. Belongingness and love is I must share my love, my happiness with my family, or I must have a feeling of belongingness. When I go around, I should say I am an IITian, so I get some bhav out of that. And esteem has two levels. One is a lower self-esteem where I constantly need approval from others. Higher self-esteem is you already have self-confidence and you don't really need that. It is when you have higher self-esteem that you can cross this line. Otherwise, these are called deficiency needs. Most people are stuck with deficiency needs. Maslow in a study found out that there are few people, rare people, even young people who are not in deficiency needs. They are difficult to understand by people who are operating here. And what are these higher needs? Knowledge for the sake of knowledge. Art for the sake of art. Okay. You are not driven by these. You are trying to express some tremendous talent hidden in you spontaneously. You are driven from within. Nobody can offer a carrot to you, and carrot and stick approach won't work. You will do it because you are born to do it. And those are, he called, being needs or growth needs. And a person who has reached this, man must become what he's meant to become, or woman, you are said to be self-actualized. Arjuna was self-actualized in his archery, in his dhanurvidya, in his kshatriya behavior. So he will understand the meaning of this, because then you are not doing things to satisfy some deficiency need, which is what you are doing it because it's meant to be done. So only when we cross this line to some extent we'll understand this. And then beyond this, Maslow said it's meta needs, and he didn't go further. He said, I have to go to India and see people because there are sages, there are rishis here who have actually gone beyond all this. And this is called self-realization. Now, in education, it's difficult to find a self-actualized teacher. It's far more difficult to find a self-realized teacher. But this is the whole purpose of education, to rise to this level. So, what about the kind of happiness? The kind of happiness you get here is unbelievable. People at the lower levels will never understand. You get a transcendental maturity which enables people to learn, to live, to love, to relate, and to play. See, it's a leela which you enjoy in far more fulfilling ways than the so-called normal. Here the reward is in the doing itself. So you're not waiting for the exam to be, you're not waiting for to be announced. So you don't need all that. Reward is in the action itself. The trouble is our training. The people around us are not taking this path to fulfillment. We are growing horizontally. You are successful, you will say, okay, with this money I should avoid paying tax, I should buy one flat here, one flat there, one car here, one car there for my children, grandchildren, I should save money. That is the path of preyas, not the path of shreyas. So, actually we are poverty-minded when we have it. If you just want to keep adding zeros to your bank balance, if you keep wanting to add citations and H-index and nothing else, don't really bother what happens to you. You're caught in this loop. And you're lost in it. And are you happy? Ask yourself. So these are growing horizontally. The return on your investment is not rewarding. And this is called sakama karma. driven by kama or artha. It is important to cross this line because you should know that it's not paying back. Something is missing. That turning point is crucial. That turning point is where need has become greed. You know it. I don't need this for my happiness. This is enough. And then, so the correction, this correction is what the Gita is trying to share. And it is only here you feel a sense of abundance, not something we acquire, it's something we tune into. And it is here that you understand how Nishkam Karma is possible. If you are here, you'll never understand. You'll say, okay, Gita says it must be true. Are kya farak padta hai? It won't change your life. So it is an invitation to climb up. The other way you can do this is the path of bhakti where you surrender. Then also you can do it. Okay. So to find fulfillment at work, find out what you're good at, your talents, find out what you love doing. What you love doing is where, time doesn't, you don't feel the passage of time. Just keep loving doing it. And this is what the Gita says. You must also find your swadharma, your true inner calling. And whatever you're good at, whatever you love doing, whatever is your true inner calling, will find a need to be satisfied in society. So the intersection of all this is the only way you can really get enduring at work. And Henry Ford said this, quality means doing it right when no one is looking. Finding inspiration in your being, your swadharma. What is it that makes you feel lit, inspired, enthused, joyful, fired, in contrast with what makes you feel uninspired, low, unlit? What makes you feel open, expanded, adventurous, in contrast to what makes you feel closed, contracted? We know this. Inside itself, we know the feeling. What gives you mental clarity, clear knowing of what to do, in contrast with what tends to make you feel clouded, confused? What makes you feel joyfully energetic, effortless, flowing? You don't feel passage of time, in contrast to what makes you feel stagnated, tired, effortful. See, when you're into this, there is nothing called retirement. You just love doing whatever you're doing. You're not doing it, it's getting done through you. What prompts you towards healthy sharing, interaction, synergy with others, in contrast to avoiding, shrinking from contact with others, or unhealthy interactions, gossip, and so on? What enables a gentle unfolding of a noble vision for the future, in contrast to the insistent demands for short-term gain? This is what our education should lead to, and for each individual it will be different. Another crucial aspect of Karma Yoga which very few people have understood is this. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvacha. Actions are done entirely by the three gunas, three modes of nature. But we claim ahankara vimudhatma, that's all of us. The deluded ego self imagines kartaham iti manyate, I am the doer. This is a big shock which the Gita tells. We want our name first in the paper, we want to say, I did it, I wrote the paper. Who are you? You are just it's Prakriti which is doing all. So this needs a lot of discussion. I don't have time to explain, but this is the real shocker. What are the three gunas? Tamo guna, tamas, which is about inertia, rigidity, mechanical nature, ignorance, delusion, coarseness, heaviness, slowness, dogmatic conservatism. What I believe is the truth. All that you are saying is all rubbish. Sloth, laziness, dullness, grief, depression, decadence. This is what you get, the consciousness in matter. Rajas is dynamism, vitality, activity, excitation, struggle, pain, restlessness, lust, conquest, greed, instability, insatiability. You need this to bring change. Okay. You see the vitality in animals. And Sattva Guna, poise, fineness, lightness, harmony, illumination, joy, balance, calmness, gentleness, care, morality, lucidity, purity, empathy, truthfulness, honesty. And this is the development of the mind. Now, we need to improve our sattva guna and use it to purify the other guna. That's the only way you can bring transformation. Then you can go beyond the guna. It's called trigunatita. So, in our emotions, whenever you feel apathy, grief, fear, it's tamas. When you feel lust, anger, pride, you feel energy, it is rajas. But this is all deep non-awareness and non-awareness. If you live a life like this, it is a life of fear. Is the time I quickly conclude. But beyond this, you have courageousness, acceptance, trust, love, peace. This is where sattva guna, this is where awareness. So, if we are here, we have to rise here, and beyond this to rise here, and this is the path of love. Here we frequently get into the box, we blame people, treat them as objects, we self-justify, distort views, shift responsibility. Here we are out of the box. And we are always tested. Something happens, could be a small pataka or a big tsunami, and here we will always respond in the worst way possible. There's no gap between stimulus and response. Here there is a lot of gap, and here there is a lot of choice. You need not do in one unique way. In relationships, the best relationship is when both partners are operating at the highest level. Very, very rare. But if you are stuck here with your partner, then you get into the box. But if you are spiritually inclined, you will try to come out. But simply coming beyond this here is not enough, because the tone of your partner's voice is enough to irritate you and drag you down again. So real spirituality is when you rise to your highest level, and then there is no threatening which will be felt by your partner, and you change and the world will change. This is the message of the Gita. Bhakti Yoga, very quickly. Yat karoshi tat kurushva matarpanam. Whatever you do it as an offering to the divinity, to me. So it's a consecration of your work. It is a surrender. This also helps you do Nishkam Karma. These are very important and beautiful lines from the chapter on Bhakti Yoga. Adveshta sarva bhutana. No dvesham towards any living being. Not only having no ill will, maitra, having friendship, karuna, having compassion. Maitra karuna evacha. Nirmamo nirahankara, very beautiful, being free of the sense of I and mindness. Sama dukkha sukha shami. So this we saw. Shami is having the ability to be patient and forgiving. Santushtaha satatam yogi, always having tripti. Santushta. Satatam, always. Yogi, being yoked to this. Yatatma dridha nishchaya, having control over your thoughts. And decisive, you are not confused. Dridha nishchaya. Mai arpita manobuddhi. Bhakti comes here, where you do samarpanam of everything. Say, I don't know. I surrender. Mai arpita manobuddhi. Yo mad bhakta samay priya. So, these are beautiful lines. This is bhakti. So, this is what leads you to knowing what is right and wrong. Ishvara sarva bhutana hriddeshe tishtati. The one divine exists in the hearts of all beings. But if you are not aware of it, you will be moved around. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani maya. So you will be moved around in samsara by prakriti, not even knowing that you are like a puppet being moved around, thinking you are the karta. So the answer, final answer, whenever we are confused, you can consult books, you can consult teachers, but if you really want the ultimate answer, Arjuna asks, what is my dharma? He says, really want the ultimate answer, then the answer comes only when you connect with the core of your being. Give up all your ideas of Dharma. Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Surrender entirely to that divinity. What's the outcome of that? Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyu. I will take care of all your inadequacies, your sins or whatever. Mokshishyami Mashuchad. Don't worry. Moksha will be yours. Such people are very rare because people don't even know about all this. So he says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So the ultimate bhakta is one who can see Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Vasudeva is the Deva who is ever present everywhere. It's also the name of Krishna. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarva. So there is divinity hidden everywhere. The person who is able to see this clearly is a Mahatma, but such Mahatmas are Durlabha. So the invitation is, in spirituality at work, is to become a Mahatma by going this way. I think time is up, so I won't tell you this story. It's a fantastic story. We leave it there. And we end with this slide. This is how we teach in IIT under a banyan tree. So I'll stop there. I'm sorry, but I have to cover. Thank you.